As I sat through all my college classes, one thing became abundantly more and more clear throughout the years. There's no way that I was going to be fulfilled and live a happy life if I was going to be forced to be at an office for 40, 50 hours a week. And if you clicked on this video, you're probably feeling the exact same thing because you and I both need the freedom to hang out with friends and family and pursue our passions without having to deal with the commute, the 9 to 5, or the boss that doesn't like you. So in this video, I'm going to give away the game plan that allowed me to go from broke college kid. I had 1,500 bucks when I started college, and by my senior year when I was graduating, I was already making more than a lot of my college professors. And I do not say that to flex because what I'm about to tell you is not passive or easy. It's not a get rich quick scheme, but I'm going to give you the exact step-by-step game plan that allowed me to escape the 9 to 5. So take notes on this video, put it into practice, and put genuine effort into it. And I'm confident that you can use this to build a better life. I know it, I've done it. So let's start with the basics. What even is this business idea that I used to generate a 6-figure income while I was still full-time in school? See, when I was a freshman, I got fired by my part-time job by a boss who simply hated me. And it was at that exact moment that I knew I had to take things into my own control. And I did that classic Google search that maybe even landed you on this video, where I was trying to figure out how to make money online. I tried everything from drop shipping on eBay, which ended up making me like $1 a day or something hilarious. I tried stock and options trading because of course we all think we have an era where we're the next Warren Buffett. But then I eventually landed on a video about selling on Amazon. And trust me, I know what you're probably thinking. Oh boy, here comes another video about Amazon. But what I saw as an opportunity is way different than the way that most people talk about Amazon. When most people think they're going to get rich selling on Amazon, they've watched a TikTok or a YouTube video where you take some cheap, crappy product from China, buy it from Alibaba, you slap your own random brand name on it, and then you sell that product to customers on Amazon. That's called Amazon private label. And if you do it that way, the way that most of the gurus out there are telling you to do things, there's a really low chance that you're actually going to make money. Especially if you're new to business, you're going to have to learn how to advertise, how to create packaging, how to work with manufacturers, how to create attractive product listings. You're going to have to learn the whole system of Amazon and creating your own custom product all at once. And that's why the success rate for starting Amazon in this way is so low. But what I found that actually worked for me, and it was the first online business that I tried that actually made me significant money, was selling products on Amazon that people are already buying. So as a broke college kid, naturally I couldn't afford to lose money selling on Amazon, and I definitely couldn't afford to go manufacture my own product. And so those first products that I sold were actually used books. And I know that sounds crazy. Yes, people are still out there reading paperback books, but 3 to 4 weeks, I was driving around to every thrift store in my county. I was also buying textbooks from the people in my dorm at the end of every semester. I was hitting yard sales, flipping old VCR players, literally anything that I could do to make some money. And I still think that this is probably the best way for you to start making some money if you have very little. It's going to be difficult to make a full-time income selling books. The best that I ever did was making about $7,000 in profit in a single month during August when everybody was buying textbooks. And that felt awesome to me as a 19-year-old kid. And this is also how you can test selling on Amazon literally for free. What I want you to do is go download the Amazon Seller app. It's completely free to download. And then go check your bookshelf and scan any of the old used books that you've got laying around. You'll scan the barcode on the back of the book here, and then you can see how fast every item on Amazon sells based on the sales rank. On this book, we can see it's a 7,000 sales rank. So it's about the 7,000th best-selling book on Amazon, which means it probably flies. And we can also see in used condition is going for $26. There's a really good shot you have books like this one laying around your house. So instead of spending thousands of dollars to test the concept of a new business, literally go scan the free books you already have on your shelf using a free app, and you can start to make your first sales on Amazon for $0. Just by selling used books, I was able to do about $100,000 in my first year selling on Amazon, which was definitely great for me because I hadn't started out with a lot of money, but it actually ended up being a huge mistake. And here's what I want you to learn from that. The problem with the books business model, as you're probably thinking right now, is it's a lot of work. And every time you want to find a winning product, you have to find a completely new item. Typically, you're only going to find one copy of a book that's actually worth selling. So that's where I pivoted to the business model that actually allows me to sell multiple millions a year. And it's literally selling name brand products like this makeup right here. We can see this item is selling on Amazon for about $17, and we can buy it on the brand's website over here for about $7. So if we plug that into SellerAmp over here, which shows us all the data, profit information, all that good stuff that we need to know, that's going to show us that we make $3 profit, 46% ROI every single time this item sells. And the good part about this business is you can go onto these websites and typically you can buy as much as you need to actually stay in stock, make consistent sales. So instead of finding one-off items here and there, you're able to start building a catalog of everyday products that people are already buying, right? We can see here on SellerAmp that this item's selling at least 80 times a month. And every time we're able to buy this item and sell out, we can restock it, right? So comparing that to used books or any business where you're having to do new work over and over again to make money, with online arbitrage, arbitrage, you can use the exact same products to make money on repeat. And it really becomes valuable as you build a catalog of things that you can restock, come back to, because when you start a business, you want to make sure that there's actually a plan to scale long term to make more and more money as you work less and less hours. And you can actually use this exact example here that I'm showing you to find a ton more winning products. I've got a bunch of videos on my channel that go into super in-depth how to find winning products like this. And I'll also leave a link down below for a complete sourcing checklist. Basically everything I check on an item to make sure it's good, so I'm not going to lose money before I buy an item. That checklist is free. I'll leave it down below. But we can use this exact item here to find as many new products as we want via the SellerAmp offers tab. This is showing us everyone else who's selling this item. And it's pretty reasonable to assume that since we found it profitably on the brand's website over here, there's going to be other items in these people's storefronts that we're able to find cheap enough to make a profit on Amazon, right? So we can just go ahead and open up some of these storefronts. I'll typically open up any of the storefronts with less than a couple hundred feedback. If they have like thousands or more, like this seller here, they might be doing some wholesale or some things that are just hard for you to understand as a beginner, how they're getting items so cheap. But sellers like this one right here, they've only got a couple feedback. And so there's a huge chance that they're buying all their inventory from everyday websites. So what we'd want to do here is jump into these items here. We can click the Google button here. And what we're trying to find is if we can find this item for $6.60, this is telling us that we're going to make a decent profit. So $3 profit, 35% ROI. This is like the bare basics I like to look for in an item. And when we're popping this open on Google here, it seems like we can see maybe that one right there. So maybe eCosmetics might have it for $9. We could get 25% off with entering an email address here. So that could help us make some profit. So it seems like maybe you're a little bit close there. We could also go ahead and scroll through the rest of all the Google shopping options, and they're not always going to be profitable, right? If every single item you looked at was profitable, then we'd be in one hell of a business. It's going to take work. Like, I want to be very upfront with you guys that finding these items is not easy. Finding your first item is going to take some time, but I'm super glad I stuck with it. It took me a few weeks to get over the initial learning curve myself, and I didn't have videos like these to watch back in the day. So I'm confident that you guys can get through that learning curve, and I'm actually really grateful for it. It keeps out a lot of the people who aren't willing to go through that rite of passage of learning the business a little bit. But as you dig through more of these storefronts here, you're going to start to understand the brands that are good, what types of products within each brand that are actually good, and you're also going to start to pick up on different websites. So like this one right here, we found that 25% off code that we could maybe use. You just need to get some reps in to start understanding basically the cheapest places to buy inventory and the most expensive types of items that people tend to put in their storefront. And after you find some more winning items, digging through storefronts, basically copying the ideas that are already working for other Amazon sellers, let's talk about something else that's super important. And that's thinking about how much money we're actually going to have to spend to make a full-time income if we're trying to replace the 9 to 5. So I want to dive into a super simple calculator here with you guys. Let's say so far this year, you've sold $20,000 on Amazon and you spent $10,000 on products to make that happen. This is a pretty standard breakdown in terms of spending $1 to become $2 in revenue. Typically that ends up being decently profitable as well. Since you're wanting to replace the full-time income with this business, let's say you want to sell $100,000 a month on Amazon. That's going to break down into $50,000 a month spent, or about $1,600 spent on inventory every single day. And this isn't to say that you have to sell $100,000 a month to replace whatever income you have right now. What that 100,000 would probably shake out into is somewhere around 17,000 or so. Anywhere from like 15 to 20% is pretty typical profit margins with online arbitrage. And if you're coming from a decent desk job, it probably makes sense for you to be making at least $10,000 a month, probably more. Obviously, that's an extremely personal decision. This is not financial advice, all that good stuff, but a good benchmark that I've heard from other people who have quit their 9 to 5s. They've had a good job and then they quit to sell on Amazon full time. I've heard a couple of those people mention they wanted their business profit to be double the salary that their 9 to 5 job was bringing in before they quit the job. I really like that as a metric. So if you're making great money at a desk job, you got family to support, it doesn't make sense to quit your job right away. I know a lot of the entrepreneur type channels out there might not tell you that a job might be a good thing, but until you're making a really solid amount of profit with this business, you can make great money running an Amazon business part-time. I've interviewed several people on the channel, people like Paula, who scaled $200,000 a month doing these exact numbers with a 9 to 5 job. So don't feel like you have to quit and go all in to make money on Amazon. You can still do both. But as we're looking at these goals here to make that $100,000 a month in revenue or $17,000 a month in profit, however it shakes out, it's going to be around $1,600 a day that you're going to spend on inventory. And I know that probably sounds super intimidating if you're just getting started. I definitely didn't have that kind of money when I started out my business, but just by doing the things that I showed you here today, doing it on repeat, continuing to reinvest my profits, I built my Amazon business to the point where now we're spending anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000 every single week. And so as you're getting serious about Amazon, I want to give you a few of the most common traps and the most common reasons why I see people fail at Amazon FBA. And if you do these things, you'll have a dramatically higher chance of succeeding. The first thing, and I would almost argue this is more important than sourcing items on your own, and that's going to be going out, networking, making friends who also sell on Amazon. When I first started selling on Amazon, I wasn't typically a super social person. I wanted to do it all myself. I was a lone wolf Amazon seller, and I was able to hit about $30,000 a month on my own. But as soon as I started networking and talking with other Amazon sellers, I went from $20,000 to $30,000 a month to 6 figures a month within half a year. And that was all done just by hopping on Zoom calls together, sourcing items together, telling them where I'm sourcing, showing them some of the items that I'm selling. They're doing the same for me, and we're all getting richer because there's so much opportunity and there's so many sales going around that if you share your secrets with 2, 3, 4 other people and they're doing the same, you guys are all going to end up making more money. And it's not necessarily going to be one of those things where you're all trying to fight for the same small piece of the pie. Another big reason why a lot of new sellers end up failing is because they're not willing to do the hard work. They're not willing to do the tasks that other people aren't willing to do. So networking is a big example of that, but also things like leveraging merchant fulfillment. So when you're buying all these items, you can ship them directly to the customer, which cuts out the lag time of shipping to Amazon FBA. Typically, when you buy items, you'll box it all up in bulk, ship it off to Amazon, and then they'll ship each order out to the customer for you. But if you list those items via merchant fulfillment, you can skip the lag time of shipping to Amazon. You can test the concepts faster. Your items are less likely to decrease in price, and you get the money back faster to continue growing it. And a lot of the sellers who started out with not a ton of money, but scaled their business super fast, did it almost entirely by leveraging merchant fulfillment. And it's one of those things that just works. It always will work, simply because most people are not willing to do the work that it takes to box up every order themselves. So if you're ready to get serious about Amazon, I'll also mention we have a free class going down here in a couple weeks. If you're watching this video after March 27th, click the link down below because we do these free classes every couple weeks. We want to put you guys on a ton of free game, how to do product sourcing, ungating, getting approved to sell all these name brands, and the product sourcing stuff that we share in the class. We don't put on YouTube. We don't share it anywhere else for free. It's super fun, and I love putting you guys on some game on these live classes. The link to register for this is going to be down below. It's completely free. I'd love to see you there. Take some notes, ask some questions, all that good stuff. You'll get a ton of value. And if you guys did learn from today's video, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. That helps me out for adding some value to you. If you want to add some value back to my business. Also, let me know if you have any questions, comments, anything like that. Always happy to answer those for you. But I really appreciate you watching this video, and I will see you next time.